Walrus Punch is there not necessarily for the damage. It's there because it's a BKB piercing disable, and you can use it to just like finish off a big combination with the extra tiny bit of damage that you need. All you really need, in my eyes, is like a
Radiant
Solar
team
Crest
pick.
and then a Blink Dagger, and you've essentially done your job.
The reason why I like it a lot this game is because they have flexibility. You can play now the Fury and you can push him to a 3 and pair the Tusk with him, because that has always been a combo that works well together in a lane. So you've already got a strong setup if you go down that route.
10
Or
seconds
you can keep the Fury as a 1. You can even you can honestly even go Tusk 5, Nature's
seconds
Prophet 1, and
remaining.
put the Silencer to a 4. So if you want to put those two together, that's fine. You know that lane's going to go great. But in regards to the Snowball save against the Bane, you just cancel the Fiend's Grip or the Spear as well, which is, Mars very much relies on getting that spear connection in the arena for a lot of the damage. So you have the save aspect, you've got the strong lane, and also he gives you an opportunity to take Roshan.
Yep, absolutely. You hit on all the points there. The one thing I'm a little concerned about, the Wrath of Nature is going to help with it somewhat, but their wave clear isn't great. You know, you need to essentially wait until Tusk is level 15 until he's able to clear a creep wave with his Ice Shard Snowball combination. Silencer, pretty damn terrible at it if I'm being honest. So you would need like level 10 on Silencer with the Arcane Curse talent plus a Veil of Discord if you're going to stand any hope at trying to stop any kind of push. But they're going to go a little bit different, just continuing on into this pick-off
10
style.
seconds
Might look
remaining.
to see an Exort Invoker come out this time around to combo it together
5
with
seconds
any kind of
remaining.
initiation that a Bane, Earth Spirit, Mars rotation is going to be able to make happen. Wonder if we'll be able to
Radiant
see any
team
kind of
back.
Faceless Void bans coming out here. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest.
I don't think you need to ban the Void. I think if they pick Void, you just run this game over. It's just the same as last game. You got a Fury on.
Yeah.
I maybe because it looks so good with an Invoker, but it. I just like I look.
10
We saw that
seconds
game.
remaining.
We're like, oh, Nature's Prophet, Void. I'm gonna go with a
5
Fury on. Just the
seconds
matchup's
remaining.
so much better, and I really feel like Polaris. They could
Dire
just
team
leave that
back.
ban for someone else if they really want to.
Radiant team
I feel like they
back.
can do it if they're confident that this roaming trio is going to be able to find the Nature's Prophet and kill him every single time, because a Silencer and a Tusk and a Conqueror is not going to take towers. You know, of course, Polaris have the last pick overall in the draft, and it's likely to be, you would say, their position 3 hero, unless they want Nico to be playing this Nature's Prophet.
10 seconds remaining.
But I don't know, like it's...
5 seconds remaining.
It feels a bit weird for me. Like they need this Nature's Prophet to be able to push, so it's just that balancing act, right, of what
Dire
is
team
actually
back.
going to make you succeed in the long run.
Radiant team
Yeah,
pick.
they
So
do
they
get rid
do.
of the Void.
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah,
Like,
play
it
it
just
safe.
take away the easy combination.
So what other combinations can you get from a carry? I don't think there's many that have any like AoE control like the Chrono. Like the Chrono and the Void.
Sven?
10
It's pretty
not
good versus
horrible.
remaining.
honestly, like it's pretty good versus Nature's Prophet and
Dire
Task.
team
I don't think the others. I like the call. I like the call a lot. Okay, so you're looking for a hero now for Polaris to kite the Sven. It really makes it so that you don't want to lane Tusk and Furion as a 3 into the Sven, I believe, but then it's a Silencer Nature's Prophet lane.
10 seconds remaining.
I think their position 3 is yet to come. I want to
Yep.
see Boomy playing this
5
Tusk.
seconds remaining.
So something that's a little better against the Sven, that's able to help kite him around in team fights, that isn't super squishy if it gets dived on.
Someone with wave clear as well would be nice because you have supports that can't do that. And they need a way to start fights, I feel.
Let's have a look.
Opportunities. What's available? What's left for Polaris? Some box still to tick off.
I'm looking at all the heroes right
Yeah.
now. Tell me if it's picked. Pango?
Into Bane, but you do offer a lot of control versus Sven. A way to get on top of the Invoker's nice. Another
I
way
mean,
to
I feel
start
like the Pango is
fights.
fine, right? As long as the Silencer just makes sure to save his global silence when the Fiend's Grip goes out on the Rolling Thunder.
Yep. Okay, so saving Fiend's Grip for that, which we didn't really see in last game. With how the Silencer could play the global. They're going to go down the Tide
You may
route,
now
so
select your hero.
gives
It does
him...
tick off a few of those boxes. It doesn't necessarily kite the Sven all that well, but
He can build
Well,
Halberd. Definitely a
yeah.
Halberd builder, so then you have at least some way to deal with the Sven as the game goes on. And honestly, like, now, I mean, Like, how do you play this? If it's a Quaswex Invoker, then are you going Spirit Vessel? If he's not going Quaswex, then it means it's going to come out a little bit later in regards to the Earth Spirit, unless Aaron has an exceptional performance.
It's not just my game, right? Invoker and Sven look absolutely hideous.
Oh yeah, no, they're the worst sets I think I've ever seen. I don't know why. Why are you going to pick those heroes if you don't have something that makes me actually want to look at them? Like, now I don't even want to look at their lane. Like, they are actually
that
atrocious.
looks like some, especially the Sven. That looks like some starter level MMO bullshit with that. Like,
wait,
is that a red like just piece of cloth draped over his head?
Yeah, it's literally just like a hood cloak thing. It's horrific.
Well, for people in case they can't see it, I'm not sure what the draft overlay looks like.
Oh, yeah,
we'll
they can't
zoom in on
see.
them
They actually
once
can't see.
in game. We'll zoom in on them once when we get into the game while they're rotating out to their lanes, because it is not a good look.
All right, so
right
we're not
now.
looking at bottom lane and mid lane. I don't
No,
want
we'll look at it once. We got to give them the look
but
once.
Afterwards, I don't want to see it. So we were speaking about the Furion and the Tusk lane. They do actually put the Tusk on CML, so I like that a lot. You still get the strong combo. Mars is more than likely going to be forced to come out the lane with a Ring of Protection, I think, more than likely. And it gives you a big old opportunity now to get the kill. He's not actually going to. So Van is just going more for the stock standard. Lot of stats for this lane.
He'll be in a lot of trouble then, because you do have that Blightstone on Natsumi, and him plus the Tusk with the tag team. Like, honestly, level 1, maybe. Level 2, definitely. I think we'll be seeing kills happening in that top lane.
Oh, the viewers are not loving it right now. Dude, this Sven's disgusting. And let me... Why?
It looks like a scuffed Slardar / Jakiro face.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. And then Krish as well on this Invoker. It looked a lot worse in the draft screen. This is... I feel like you could definitely get some better Invoker sets, though.
Is this like a Halloween one? It has to be, right?
Dude, I got no idea.
Like, in what other situation does it make sense for Invoker to be wearing a gas mask?
So, aside from the fact that the cosmetic game is lacking, do you feel like that's going to be a big issue here from Omega to take it?
I think it's more of an issue that this top lane is going to go horribly for them. I think Nature's Prophet Tusk is going to absolutely body Van in particular on the Mars, just because of how they've chosen to itemize for this these first couple of waves.
The battle begins.
Yeah, I think there's going to be big issues here with Van as well. And you don't really... Well, they didn't get the bounty. So a 2 for 2, but you don't really have a position 4 that can secure your lane. Like, Aaron's gone for boots, so he's going to be playing more off the back of maybe pulling the wave and occupying around mid, because Krish did go Wex as well, so it has that aspect of rotations.
But if you pull the wave, then is there anything really stopping Van from just getting gone on? Like, I feel like you give up a wave, particularly for First Blood.
Yeah.
They're not even caring about the creeps. They're just like, all right, well, we're going to punish them, and they're going to get 0 creeps out of this wave.
Yeah, this is really going to be tough. I mean, you're already seeing the Earth Spirit start to play towards that next creep wave, but I mean, Van's just completely bullied out. So we've seen what a Nature's Prophet can do so far, and well, this looks like Natsumi is going to have free farm.
He can try to do everything that he can. CML, I wonder if he'll look to scout this out. He moves towards the right side. He should be able to. Good job by Aaron to block up both of those camps, actually, so CML's not able to reset the creep equilibrium. But yeah, again, like Van, he's getting nothing out of this. Does he have any last hits right now?
He's got 2.
2, but I mean, is he going to get any under when it moves underneath the tower? Probably not. All right, other lanes, how are they going? Tidehunter doing a good job on the bottom side of the map. Kind of surprising. I mean, you've got a Sven and a Bane, very easy setup for the kill onto the Silencer. We saw in the previous series how squishy a Silencer can be if you're getting a lot of this action in onto him. Maybe just the fact that he's not quite level 2 yet, putting Zenki in a bit of a rough spot.
No matter.
They're going for it.
Zenki getting range for that brain sap. Boomy trying to play through the tree line. Doesn't have this extra movement speed from the boots, but now Nico actually might turn it. Is about to have enough mana for the combination. But the nice timing of the Nightmare just gives Zenki an opportunity to reset his positioning. But a lot of resources are being forced out from, you know, both the heroes down bot. I think we didn't really speak too much about this Invoker Conquer matchup as well. It's traditionally known to be very Conquer favored, and we were seeing kind of we were saying we're excited to see how Chris could fare. You know, a player we haven't seen as recently, but he's really not going up against the greatest matchup.
No, definitely. He's also gone Quaswex instead of the Exort. Obviously, there's not quite as many amazing setups. Actually, and there we go. Silencer ends up going down. It's going to be the Bane getting the kill, but I don't think he minds all that much. He's probably just going to go look to deny himself to some kind of tower, probably the tier 2, just to make sure that he's not giving away the... actually, he'll look to grab the banner in first. He's not giving away the experience to the Silencer when he TPs in.
I do see him under the observer ward. I wonder if someone just comes over to claim some of the experience.
Radiant are scanning.
They even scan just to make sure no one's there anticipating this move. So yeah, thank you. Deny. I saw the bounty, of course, so you're pretty happy about that one. But yeah, more about the mid lane. I mean, Maxis is going to have such a damage advantage. You know, I've seen the Invoker with level 2 and rotations actually do pretty decently versus the Conquer. I was thinking maybe this is where the Earth Spirit could come into play as well. They're making an attempt at the moment on Natsumi top. Nice positioning on the Sprout's going to give him some extra time to, you know, reset himself. But Aaron and Van, they actually hit back. That's a big kill to find, considering Van was, you know, suffering very early on.
Yeah, for sure. I'm honestly pretty damn surprised that that's been allowed to happen, especially, you know, you've got the tag team, you've got the Ice Shards. You really don't need anything else to be able to stop a constant aggression onto this Mars. You know, sure, he's got the Spear and the God's Rebuke, but, I mean, he doesn't have any mana now, so this is the time where you need to be going for this kill. If they miss out on this, it's a big opportunity wasted.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, Natsumi's got a big wave here that's preventing him from doing much connecting, but I still feel like this could be a very dead Mars if he wants it to be.
See, it does feel like a lot of the aggression continuing down bottom as Boomy and trouble here. The Cleave Prince trying to play off the Kree wave there. Nico won't have mana to turn it back around. Once again, another kill picked up. It's going to be Zenki finding it. So Prince would love to start picking up some, you know, an influx of gold from a lot of these kills, but it's a huge wave for Nico.
Yeah, he's going to be very happy with that. Silencer dying a few times kind of is his role. What are we seeing here?
I'm just a gigantic Kree wave. I'm thinking right now of how juicy this would be if I was playing. My guy's just got almost a triple wave under the tower. See Silencer as well. He's not even going to TP down. He's going to make sure that he gets all the solo experience.
You always call me out for my hero spam. You've been a bit of a Tide fiend in recent times.
This hero's kind of busted. I was surprised they didn't nerf him more than what they did. I don't think that Anchor Smash is enough.
No, definitely not. I mean, it hurts him a little bit for sure, but once you pick up the Soul Ring, you don't really care all that much.
He's even got 2 skill points still available for the Tide. He's holding them at the moment, but mid lane, they're thinking about setting up on Mac, but level 6 is a very difficult hero to bring down, as you know, simultaneously they make an attempt on Van up top. So really all the side lanes and even mid as well is just looking at poke and prod, see if there's a flaw, a weakness they can exploit. You know, one thing I want to highlight is the fact that Rated, they haven't even thought about making stacks for the Sven, which I think they really need to start prioritizing.
Something that Aaron could probably have looked to do. I mean, he looks to guard the top side of the river. The nice deny of the bottom regen rune being claimed up there. It's going to hurt Mac a little bit, given that he's a Kunkka. You know, he's got such a small mana pool, so something like EMP is going to be incredibly effective against him. But yeah, if Aaron's in the region, you may as well just look to at least stack up the hard camp on your way through to protect the rune. The top lane in terms of kills certainly hasn't gone as badly for Van as I was thinking, but in terms of actual net worth, he's a good 600-700 behind even his closest rival. I do like how he's corrected his, in my eyes, item mistake. He shouldn't die here.
Nice treant block though, that was on point. CML making sure he holds the snowball just in case Van goes for the TP out. We'll have Chris coming on over, but a whiff of the tornado
just misses.
CML out to safety. This is cool how either team are kind of playing. Like Spear whenever tag team's up, but then, you know, instantly afterwards you can block with the shards or continue to hold him in place for the train. So, you know, either team using the strong suits to almost get out of dodge, but it's kind of a big rotation from Krish because he just completed the urn. Like, this is a hero that really wants to start stacking up the charges. You know, bottom lane, hold that Philip. Prince, early use of the God Strength onto Nico, who's forced to drop the Ravage. Now they're doing a lot of damage, and with the extra +1 factor from Natsumi, this should be enough to get the kill on top of the Sven. Now that the Nightmare expires, Natsumi can go to work on the supports too. The Treants just trying to get in front. Can they get the outline play? They just, oh, too slow. Zenki into the tree line, but really, what does it matter? They're so goddamn tanky. The tower, you're beating onto the Treant so it can enable the heroes to do the dirty work, and Boomy stacking up the intel as well.
Yeah, level 4, he just chooses to get the single point into the Glaives of Wisdom. It's not going to have too much of an impact in terms of actual damage output in these team fights. It's just he realizes how effective his team's lineup is for a lot of these pickoffs. You know, you're playing alongside a Tusk. That is a recipe for getting many, many kills across the map. So, Van, I was saying before he went down that I did like the fact that he changed up his build a little bit. Instead of completing the Soul Ring first, he went for the Chainmail as the defensive component to make sure that he wouldn't die too easily. It still ended up with him dying, and you know the counterpart of that is that he's also not farming, so he's still falling. Well, now, when I pointed it out last, he was what, 700 gold behind. Now he's 1,600 gold behind this Nature's Prophet.
And there's a hero that very feels kind of thirst or famine in a way for the Mars. Like, you can make a lot of plays across the map, or if you start to fall behind, it can be very difficult for you to have a whole lot of impact. So we'll see. Van, he needs catch up. You know, where is he going to be able to find it though? That's kind of the big issue, because Prince is going to take a lot of the farm by the triangle. You've got some supports who also need their levels and experience, considering how rough the laning stage has gone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hold out hope. I mean, they were, I'm sure, hoping to at least net one kill from that Krish rotation towards the top side, even if it was just onto the Tusk with the freshly picked up urn. But unfortunately, he's not able to get any of those stacks in there just yet. He's got enough gold to be able to build up the Vitality booster as well, so maybe look to try and just be a little bit more sustainable. Have to be careful with how this courier is moving around too, because he's walking around underneath an Observer Ward here on the Invoker.
Like, this is... Krish has had the urn for at least 2 minutes 30, and he hasn't even been able to find anywhere near close to an urn charge. He'll make the attempt for the TP top. Instantly, they'll try and reset, and they're actually just going to give up the toss. They're happy with getting out. They force the rotation, and there's the urn charges for Krish. So he's... I mean, he's still nowhere near the farm and the net worth like the Conquer, but once he completes the Spirit Vessel, they will have a big opportunity to kill these tanky heroes on Polaris.
Particularly the Conquer, right, who wants to be, if he can, armlet toggling a little bit. Spirit Vessel makes that impossible.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, and it gives you an aspect to be able to kill the Tide Hunter through the early stage of the game, which can often be very difficult as soon as that hood's completed. And it's just such a beefy hero with 3.5 strength gain, and really all you need is like, phase, soul ring, hood, and you can eat a lot of damage, especially with the levels in the Kraken shell.
Oh man, I mean, Aaron, if it works out for him, it's going to do really good, but he's going into a super early BKB on this position for Earth Spirit. You know, he's got a few of the value items, of course, just the Sage's Mask, the Infused Raindrops, the Magic Stick, but straight into the BKB after that. I don't hate it, but it just might cause them to fall a little bit too far behind, considering they might be waiting for such an expensive item for a support.
Smoke on smoke. The dive scan does connect, so they're well aware of this movement occurring. They're going to try and knock down Van instantly. The boat will give them that opportunity, and now Radiant, as soon as they show up, they have to think twice, knowing that Nico can turn this round in a heartbeat with the Ravage.
Man, they put up this Observer Ward where they're walking around next to the side shop, like, at around the same time that this Observer Ward was there, and they still haven't gotten rid of it. Like, Polaris have complete understanding of how Omega have been moving this entire time. And I'm not exactly sure why they've been using so many sentries around this area, because the camps were never blocked. So I don't know. It just feels like a huge misplay to the fact that they haven't scouted out the fact that they've got this vision in the area.
Like, it's rough seeing that there's nothing to really be done across the map. You don't have the top tower claim, which just gives you a little bit more map control to play with for the Sven, and even like another extra couple of units and spaces to be able to potentially get a pick off. And so they have to go all the way down to bottom, but this is very obvious at the moment as CML just honestly mirroring this. Trying to...
Yeah, I mean, for me, Aaron needs to be playing alongside Krish here, right? Like, at least now he's got the Spirit Vessel, you've got that additional damage output. Maybe even just waiting for the level 7 on the Earth Spirit just to buff up that damage a little bit further. But, I mean, who do you kill? The fact that Boomy, ever since the laning stage, has had the freedom to just walk around and soak up as much experience as he wants is, I mean, a huge bonus for Polaris.
Dire's top tower is under
They are
attack.
just... this is what we're seeing, though, like, with every Nature's Prophet lineup, and it's... You know, maybe this is I asked you in the draft, like, why do you feel like this hero is getting picked so much? But legitimately everyone's farming. Like, this hero can be wherever he wants on the map. He's going to run into a bit of issues right now as finally CML leaves the area. So they're going to spring the trap instantly. But now with the global silence, Natsumi is going to try and run the direction of CML. Maybe they get the snowball out, but if you beautiful timing with the nightmare will prevent the save aspect. So Polaris just have to give up the Furion. They're going to roll in aggressively to Mac, but they've got to be cautious how deep they pursue on forward. Because Mac is still got the boat, they've got the Ravage as well, but Radiant standing hand in hand. Van Krish looking to posture up onto the high ground. They'll get the spear connection, and the burst is there thanks to the help of the Spirit Vessel. So 3 big kills for Krish. He's looking for more, but with all the abilities wasted, they won't kill off Nico or Boomy.
Thank you.
Really nicely done by Aaron there as well. He made sure to kite around so many different heroes in that engagement. The raindrops coming in clutch for him, as well as that additional HP from the Ogre Axe. It cost them a lot of time to be able to just follow around this Earth Spirit when, you know, was constantly silencing up, making sure the X-Mark combos weren't going off. It's finally the big team fight that they were wanting, so a 6k net worth lead has shrunk to 3 to 4k.
Yeah, one fight like that, and you see simultaneously Prince is also getting a lot of farm up top. God Strength to claim the tower. Echo Saber about to be completed after the Mask of Madness, and so we'll kind of bring up, like, where are really the stacks from Radiant to, you know, speed up the net worth that Prince is hoping for. You know, we haven't seen that just yet, but the Sven still at least is not too far behind.
Tower is under attack.
The key differential right now is really in that off lane, right? Like, it's a good 2,000 or so net worth that you're sitting behind on this Mars relative to the Tidehunter. So the fact that that previous team fight went well for you is good. It's going to enable you to get that Blink Dagger very shortly in about 300 gold, but it's just a question of what are you going to lose in that meantime. It's definitely going to be this mid tier 1 tower.
Yeah, we've seen Natsumi's put a lot more emphasis on prioritizing his farm instead of grouping up and taking these early objectives. Recognizing that they don't really need him for that tier 1 just in case, so he's back to farming the Ancients, very close to the Maelstrom. But they're smoking up on Polaris, heading to top. They'll run straight into Krish, and Mac is holding the detection, but unfortunately he doesn't get the X off in the nick of time, but still they've got CML snowballing on forward. Krish is in trouble, and it looks like he's going to get no assistance as they'll surround the Invoker by the top outpost. And that'll be the only casualty for this engagement.
No mercy at all. I'm still not crazy about this Witchblade coming through from Natsumi. Like, he's going into the Maelstrom afterwards, so he is going to have some kind of way to accelerate his farm. But why not just go for it in the reverse order, right? Like, maybe feeling that they were going to try and get a bit more aggressive on him.
Zenki, he's had a couple of cars just flying straight on over him. And my guy, you ain't making out of this one. Another freebie. You love just the courage, just the small vision they provide. It's like, gets the D ward, gets the kill as well. That was a question that I was actually going to ask you as well, with the thoughts on the Witchblade, because we've seen a lot of priority. Jabs was a fan of the Gleipnir, but pretty much everyone else we've seen has just gone Maelstrom and not even really considered the Witchblade.
I mean, the one argument that I can have for it, I suppose, is that it does give you that extra layer of being able to kite around the Sven in a team fight, right? As long as you get the first attack in onto him, it's going to give him that 25% slow.
Okay, I just watched CML just snowball and TPR from multiple heroes, and the Sven just stood on the high ground and was just right-clicking creeps. So Tuska's love and life, just space created continuously. Boy. We were saying that I mean, Omega took a very, very solid fight previously with Chris got that triple kill, and then net worth lead is just instantly skyrocketed back into the favor of Polaris. Again, you're seeing when Radiant aren't putting any pressure on the map, the net worth is not working out in their favor.
Wonder if they're going to look for a bit of a TP play here by Prince. You know, he's pushed the top lane out. Unluckily for him, the Fey Grenade no longer does that 900 range right-click damage. Otherwise, he would have probably held on to it. But he just wants to consistently play around this triangle, make sure that he's effectively farming up all of his neutral stacks that he can. Unluckily for him, he doesn't really have a bottom tier 1 tower to TP to connect with the rest of his team. Doesn't even have a mid tier 1 either. So any kind of rotation through that smoke, it's actually just not effective at all. Feels a bit weird though, right? Like he went the Blink Dagger and then he just went back to farming more. Like Blink Dagger doesn't make you farm any faster. And all that's going to do, waiting, is give them more opportunities to make plays like this. Catching out the Earth Spirit, taking away a lot of your team fight initiation, and you know, kills like that just create more space for Natsumi to be able to get into his own BKB. So I don't know how confident I feel about that decision to go into a non-farming item and continue farming.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the fact that this is a Coswex Invoker who has just completed the Midas and hasn't been able to get usage out of it. I mean, you're really far behind your counterpart. Top lane. Uh-oh, they caught out Fury on. Yep. Yeah, he's got some reinforcements coming over. I don't think he's going to be survivable enough. They'll lay down the global stance, try to utilize the strength treads, anything to keep him alive for the reinforcements, but they're too late. Nico still dropping the Ravage onto 3 human CML. There's enough damage to be able to clean off the Invoker, but now finally, Prince looking to show up with the God Strength, but they're doing an exceptional job to kite this Sven with the bow crushing down on his head. And now with the damage coming through from the DD, Mac has got plenty to kill off the Sven, and now they can turn towards Eren as well. Trying to play over with the Magnetize, but that is not enough in this team fight, as Mac secures a triple and turns it into a 5-man wipe.
Full 5-man wipe. Boomy doing a great job as well of just kiting people around the entire time. You know, you land these big arenas, but then you go for the targets that are a lot harder to kill instead of a silencer that's just sitting there on 10% HP. And the downside is he's able to get off another round of spells. He's able to run away. You don't get the free kill task. No. Gets bashed through the wall.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Oh, well, honestly, I was going to say, like, this is a team that could definitely think about taking Roche at an early timing, but I guess it's a bit too early right now.
I don't think it is. I feel like you just need your Nature's Prophet there as well. You know, he needs to be a part of that. You know, you've got the tag team, you've got the Gush, you have a Blightstone still on the Nature's Prophet, so I think you're very capable of taking it.
Oh, Prince. It's pretty close to this BKB. I mean, we'll see how much of a factor it's going to be through these fights, but you were bringing up through the draft in regards to the potential setup for the Pango pick with the global silence to protect the Fiends group. Now, we haven't seen it, of course, with the Pango in that regard, but you were correct in saying that this global is going to be a great way to deal with the Fiends group. And you know, hold that thought as Sven. It's going to be brought down here. Nico kind of just stalking out through the invis was a nice way to set up with the extra heroes top. I've caught out Max, so forced to pop the BKB. Doesn't have another way to turn it. But yeah, you were saying that just the global silence is going to be a great answer to the Fiends grip, and I feel like we've seen that through multiple fights to enable Polaris to just get there fast enough to turn it back around.
Yeah, they were a little slow, at least that time, to be able to, the previous time, to be able to save Natsumi, but you know, if you're going to get a 5-man wipe in response to it, I think you're totally cool with it. They're going to go for another attempt on Roche. This time around, Natsumi's going to be there to join with his team. He's got the BKB in case any kind of engagement does happen. Nice deep observer ward between the tier 1 and 2 towers. It'll be scouted out, but you've got the global still. I don't feel like you're all that
nice
concerned.
block.
Maybe you should be, though.
Tornado, multiple heroes. They're just going to lay down the boat just to secure Roshan. And now with the Aegis picked up, they don't have too much mana to play with the Mac, but it looks like it's just not going to matter. A kill on Eren. So yeah, really good positioning from CML to block the roll in, and that will secure with the first Aegis of the game.
feels a little hard to think of an avenue for them to come back into this game. Of course, you're up against a Sven, right? He is basically the only hero that has any kind of net worth, though, on Omega's side. So it's going to need to be the perfect initiation and, you know, that big timing that I was talking about before where, you know, you had the freedom to be able to make a few of these plays. Well, Kunkka still has an 8-second BKB. Natsumi has his 9-second BKB. He's got his Aegis. You're getting more and more farm even just on this silencer. He's getting caught out, but is he even going to die?
Looks like you will. What level is that Exo? Yeah, it's almost maxed out from Chris, so experience is starting to stack up. Nico's okay. I was gonna say it's very far pushed up, but this Tidehunter really not easy to go through. He's even gonna opt into the Shivas. We were hold that thought. Natsumi is in trouble down bottom. Finn's grip on the first life, God strength as well, but the reinforcements are starting to come over. He used a BKB as well,
Nightmare
so
from Zenki.
Zenki's just going to run up to the northern side. Prince going to look to jump in once again without the silencer to protect Natsumi, but a beautiful timing in the Sprout. They recognize still the BKB is not available, but Natsumi hides himself in a little bit of a hiding hole in a Prince. He even blinked in instead of retreating. A Ravage clipping on all three, the follow-up, and the boat dropped on the head. Mac, a double for himself, and yeah, you lose the Aegis, but another beautiful retribution.
Tower is under attack.
It was a nice attempt there by Zenki to be able to realize, look, there's going to be help that's coming in. It can only come from one direction to the north side, cutting off the Tidehunter, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. They were able to cut it out long enough. Natsumi gets away to safety, and it's they didn't have the full rotation coming through. You know, this is an Invoker that isn't that farmed. He doesn't have the boots of travel to be able to join in the rest of his team. So he's having a bit of a rough time here, Krish, unfortunately. That's me. I mean, he's happy to sit on that top side of the map. Like, what's the downside? There's no tower that's really, like, they're not in a position to be playing around this top side of the map right now on Omega's lineup. Normally you are. Like, normally you see this as being, like, the dead lane, but not this time around. Like, that's me. He can farm in complete safety here just because of the overall map pressure that the rest of his team is putting on.
Yeah, and we just see often as well, anyone with the global aspect often plays away from the team and, you know, can have that dead lane aspect. As Max is just going to catch out another. Aaron by that bottom outpost. Really want to start seeing Dike transition this and convert into objectives. I mean, Radiant are doing a pretty good job.
This is ballsy by Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, he's continuing to farm. You don't want to be popping your BKB just to be able to escape, I suppose. Seeing the fact that, you know, a Nature's Prophet, a Silencer, they're not going to be able to stop you from TPing away. It's really only Kunkka, Tusk, and Tidehunter that are going to do that, and they had vision on those, I believe.
So Boomy's getting pretty goddamn farmed as well. It just needs about 1,500 gold towards the Aghanims. Do you feel like this is going to, you know, turn the fights and make them even more difficult for Omega?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it means that, I mean, is he locked out with any of the neutral items as well? I mean,
Philosopher's Stone.
Pretty damn lucky.
Oh, yeah.
But if they're able to wait until the 27-minute mark, if he can get, let's say, a Psychic Headband, it just makes your life incredibly easy. You know, you just play on the back lines. You don't even play for any kind of right click. It's purely just around Q, E, back off. Q, E, back off. And then, you know, if they pop their BKBs, that's when you look to use the Global Silence.
Radiant, they smoked up as 5, but they just feel like they're in a position where they can't contest bottom and they want to try and trade the T1 tower. Alright, a little bit too late to answer. I like the movement though, instantly to bot, recognizing that if anyone TP'd mid and Van, a little bit too shy there. Boomy's still the target. If they can bring him down, get rid of the global silence aspect. Great Nightmare as well, locking in the Tidehunter, so there's no counter initiation with the Ravage. But still, Boomy holding his life for a long duration. He can look to buy back and drop the global silence if need be. Simultaneously, Prince off to the western side secures the kill on the Tusks. So we're 2 for 0 with the supports, but still they're looking for more. Another jump on the back line, Tide posturing aggressively. That was a really cool recognition that, and Polaris, as soon as you take that bottom tier 2, you're going to look to instantly answer and head to mid and try and defend that. And if people don't TP, you have to run through that direction. So they started to try and cut off the retreat and spread them thinly, and that enabled them to find those 2 support pickoffs, and it does still cost them Zenki's life as they were going for a dewarding expedition.
a bit rough. They don't have the Aegis anymore, so that's a nice little bonus there that Polaris are going to have to be conscious about. Aaron has to be careful about dying here. He's so close to that BKB.
Prince has to be careful. Do they have the damage to go through by the TP? Oh my lord. Simultaneously, like you're saying, Aaron will fall through the river, so Mac be on godlike 11, 1, and 3, closing in on the Satanic.
Pretty deadly. I mean, this is... You talked about how effective the Kunkka is against the Invoker. I think Kriksh had a better than I expected laning stage, but just nothing happened afterwards. You know, you've got a Kunkka, sorry, you've got an Invoker that can be enabled by the Earth Spirit a little bit here as well. Speaking of Invoker, he's getting caught out here. Just pushed out of the Sprout.
But still surrounded, BKB will do naught. As back continuing to dominate like we see so often. I mean, there's a lot of Southeast Asian players that are very high tier Conquer. You could go through the list and it's just another pick off for Zenki running further to the right side of the map. I really want to start transitioning this into objectives though.
I mean, there's not too many left to obtain. That's the only downside, right? Like, I feel like if you're just stopping the Sven from farming, you're kind of doing your job. Speaking of which,
Prince should be dead here. They have the Walrus Punch, C-Mel. Oh, they got the kills. Here, BKB TP out, and that was a goner.
He can now.
That's not gonna matter. It's on cooldown. Bye-bye, Prince. Oh,
did he try for the TP before the Walrus Punch? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like,
he did. The Yule cancelled it, so that's no bueno. Van tries to push back Mac, who has ample time to get that BKB off. They're gonna lay down the global silence. Great way to deal with the Bane's impact through the fight. Natsumi just turns, rips apart Denki. Now they're posturing for more as well, but they've still got some objectives. These outer towers left to claim.
Oh man, Boomy, he wants to be given over that ceremonial robe. He's just finished up his Aghanim Scepter. This is huge timing for Polaris right now. Like, wisely enough, going into that Blink Dagger afterwards, this is the style that you want to play as soon as you pick up Ags on a Silencer. Is just you are not present in a team fight at all. You just want to get off your combo, get out. Do the same thing in... what's the cooldown? About 8 seconds or so? Yeah, 14 seconds. So just wait out the silence and just reinitiate. He's sitting a little AFK. This is a little clowny, let's be honest. You know, sitting right next to the tower. It's nighttime, but they've still got the vision to be able to spot you out there.
It's like, guys, I got my Aghanims. I can turn the mine off for a little bit. Let's just let's chill out. It does feel like though we're really waiting just on the next Roche respawn. Polaris going to make sure they keep some observer wards through the vicinity. It's going to be the way to determine if they can close this game out shortly or not. And maybe they're
looking to take advantage of no global silence. You don't want to run into Nico though. You want to pick off. I mean, the Nature's Prophet would be a very nice target to be able to catch out here. Nice but scan. Using the Sprout just for vision, they use the scan as well just to be able to provide them with that little bit of extra information that they need to be able to get away. So nicely done by Polaris. Good presence of mind, and a counter smoke coming out instead from Polaris. Looking to rejoin. Silencer having his ultimate in 15 seconds. Of course,
Krish might run into them. Rejoin. Nico just instantly answer with the BKB TPR. What's this down to? 6 seconds on the Invoker. We've got a BKB check. Man, there's 4 BKBs on Radiant.
And there's no tier 2 tower on Radiant either. They have taken the last outer tower remaining 20 seconds before Roche is about to come up. So Polaris, that's the timing that they're looking to be playing around here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
It's just firm map control up top. We were just bring up before how the importance of Roshan, and now without having these objectives to posture in the area with the potential like TP from the buyback is more. Aaron's surrounded once again. I mean, Mac just continuing to dominate. They're gonna look to TP down bot as well. They've got vision of Prince and Nico. Ravage dropped. Not even gonna wait for an opportunity. If he pops that BKB, doesn't even think twice about it. He's happy with using the Ravage to get that kill.
And that was the first use of the BKB that we saw as well from the Earth Spirit. So, you know, he's been essentially waiting 30 minutes to have any item that's going to contribute anything this game, and you still haven't made any use out of it. That's the downside. If you're absolutely stomping, by all means, go for it. But you certainly weren't in that kind of situation at all this game. Launch is up. But I don't think Polaris really care. They're feeling themselves a little bit here. They realize that really the only one with any semblance of farm is this Sven, who's been caught out a couple of times in recent history, so he hasn't been extending that all that much. They're going to back off and do Roche anyway. Just take the easy way out, and why not? I mean, the Sunstrike will scout it out, but it's not like it can even result in anything.
Who do we want the shard to be heading over to?
Who do I want it to go to, or who will it go to?
Both.
I think it will go to Natsumi, and it does. I wanted it to go to the Long Boy.
The Long Boy. So pretty much whenever there's a Tusk, I'm expecting you to want him to have the shard.
Yes. Well, there are a few heroes with an exception, a few cheeky shard carriers that I do enjoy.
Back to port.
Windrunner is a nice one.
Gale Force is dope. Gale Force is dope. That's a bit clowny. I really don't know how good that Aghanim shard is.
Your admiral is on board.
Surprisingly good, I'd say.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
See how this base defense can come into play.
All right, this is it. They need to just 100-0 people. They've picked up the Silver Edge. They've got the God Strength available. You've got Cataclysm available on Invoker as well.
Eyes out on these new items here from Omega. Last defense has to be perfect. Going up against the Aegis advantage, Van looking for an opening. In fact, it's just trapped in now.
They're just waiting so long. They're losing their base.
No one's finding the open. They're waiting for it to be perfect, but they're not going to get it. Prince would jump, trying to rip apart the Tusker. Snowball a little bit too late. So an instant assassination, but that's a Cataclysm now on cooldown. Van's going to jump as well. It's a beautiful arena, but where's the follow-up? All the ultimates completely expended. The Global Silence just giving them an opportunity to reset the positioning. Mac incredibly deep at the moment, waiting for the safety, and there it comes. Nico arriving onto multiple heroes, and all of a sudden, Mac is back at full health. Will cleave them down, and without the Sven buyback, that just might be all she wrote. They're so far behind without a window back into the game, and it looks like Polaris will stem some of the losing streak that they were on. This is going to give them a lot of confidence as well.
I mean, it's a bad situation when, even when Amaz has BKB, the Silencer effectively soloed. A position for support Silencer. Sure, you've got the Aghanim Scepter, but you're feeling in a bit of a rough state at that stage. And, well-deserved victory from Polaris. I don't feel like Omega, though, took advantage of any of their timings that they had. The vision game wasn't quite there. The laning stage went much worse than it probably should have, just because of some of the early itemization. And then as well, on top of that, when you pick up some of these key items, notably the Blink Dagger on the Sven, you get the Spirit Vessel up on the Invoker. There was no playing around the rest of your supports like we did see on Polaris. As soon as they hit some of those key timings, they made sure to rotate together.
Yeah, and I think Polaris did an exceptional job at when someone got caught out, they were making sure they used the +1 factor of the Nature's Prophet potentially to get involved, or the Global Silence just to cancel the Fiend script, giving a little bit of time for maybe the Tide to counter-initiate with the Ravage. We just saw there was a couple of instances through the early to mid game where maybe Omega with these pickoffs could start to grow some momentum, open up the map for the Sven, but we just didn't see that. The spellcasting from Polaris was really solid to at least really play more of a reactionary game, and then once they got ahead, they could really start to determine what the map was going to look like. And we were kind of asking as well for a lot of stacks, and we really didn't get any. I mean, Zenki made 3, Urspirit made 1. I think when you got a Sven, you got to put more emphasis on that.
Much more, and you just compare it to Boomy, 14 stacks that the Silencer was able to build up for the rest of his team.
I mean, that's a big reason of why he was able to get an Aghanims at such a good timing. Not that I think it was a big reason of why they won this game, but it's just, you take a look at the difference in stacks and how it was able to help out a lot of the cores and hit their timing. But for Polaris, again, keep in mind, they dropped 4 maps yesterday. So to be able to come into this series and at least kind of give themselves a little bit of a sigh of relief and start to continue with their momentum now, because this is a pretty important for either team. I mean, we still got one more map in the series, but keep in mind, there's only one team that will be eliminated for the group stages. So this is going to be a big old series to really determine who that team might potentially be. But we'll hold that thought as our last game for the night will be coming up shortly.